Have you ever really stopped to think about the magic of modern e-commerce? You tap a button on your phone, and a day or two later, a box just appears at your door. It's almost like teleportation. But of course, it isn't. Behind that one simple click is one of the most incredible, complex, and fascinating systems that humanity has ever built. So how does it all happen? How does that little digital command on your screen set off a massive physical journey that might stretch across entire continents? Well, the answer is in the incredible history of the supply chain. It's really a story about human connection, coordination, and just relentless innovation. So, let's get into it. All right, to really get a handle on this, we're going to take a trip back in time. We'll look at 5 key eras. We'll start with ancient caravans, then jump to the age of steam, see how we connected the globe, then dive into the rise of data, and finally land right back here in the present day with the intelligent supply chain. Okay, let's wind the clock all the way back. Long before there were cargo planes or container ships, the very first foundations of global trade were being laid by merchants on some truly monumental journeys. Think about the Silk Road. This was really the original global supply chain, and it wasn't just one road, it was this sprawling 4,000-mile network. Traders were moving these incredibly valuable goods like silk and spices, and they relied on these bustling roadside inns called caravanserais, which were basically ancient logistics hubs, to rest, trade, and exchange information. But it was so much more than just commerce, right? This was the pipeline for culture, for technology, for new ideas. It laid the very groundwork for the interconnected world we have today.
Now, for centuries, trade moved at the speed of a camel or a sailing ship. That was just the way it was. And then, a seismic shift happened. The Industrial Revolution fired up, introducing machine power, and literally everything changed.
And the scale of that change was just immense. I mean, look at this. We went from relying on human and animal muscle to the raw power of machines. Trade went from being this personal trader-to-trader business to massive mass distribution and speed. Journeys that took months could now be done in just a matter of weeks. It completely reimagined what was even possible.
And the steam locomotive was the heart of this new era. You had railroads stretching out across countries, becoming the arteries of commerce, pumping goods from huge steam-powered factories out to cities and ports. All of a sudden, supply chains weren't just subject to the wind and weather. They could operate on a predictable, reliable schedule.
So with these arteries in place, the 20th century became all about scale. After World War II, there was this big global push to connect economies, and that's when we started seeing the sprawling international networks we're familiar with today. Companies began sourcing parts from one country, assembling them in another, and selling them in a third, all to get the best costs.
But to make this truly global system work, there was one key piece of the puzzle still missing. One single innovation was needed. So, let me ask you, what do you think was the single most important invention that made our modern supply chain possible?
It's probably not what you think. It wasn't the steam engine we just talked about. And believe it or not, it wasn't even the computer. It was something way simpler and, frankly, way more revolutionary. It was the humble, standardized shipping container. Yeah, a simple metal box. See, before containers, loading a ship was just chaos, a slow, expensive puzzle of stacking crates and barrels. But containerization changed all that. A container packed in a factory in one country could be sealed and then seamlessly moved from a truck to a train to a ship and back again, without anyone ever touching the goods inside. This one invention absolutely slashed costs and unlocked the massive scale of global trade we see today.
Okay, so the physical side of things was solved. But the next revolution wasn't about moving boxes, it was about moving information. We entered an era where data became just as valuable, if not more so, than the goods being shipped.
The computer brought a level of precision that was just unimaginable before. Think about the barcode. That simple invention replaced tedious, error-prone manual logbooks with instant, real-time tracking. Then came powerful software, ERPs, that could integrate a company's entire operation. Everything from procurement to production to inventory, all on one digital platform. For the first time, you could actually see your whole supply chain.
And all this new control and visibility gave rise to a pretty radical idea, pioneered by Toyota. It's called just-in-time, or JIT. The whole philosophy was this: instead of wasting money stockpiling materials in giant warehouses, what if you could have them arrive from suppliers at the exact moment you needed them for production? The ultimate goal? To eliminate every last bit of waste.
But of course, that kind of hyper-efficiency comes with a major trade-off. On the one hand, yes, JT dramatically cuts your storage costs and waste. But on the other hand, it creates a system with absolutely zero buffer. It requires a perfectly synchronized, perfectly timed supply chain, which makes it incredibly vulnerable if anything, even a small disruption, goes wrong. And then, boom, the internet arrived. Companies like Amazon could now sell directly to you and me, completely bypassing traditional stores. And that shifted all the power to us, the consumers. Suddenly, we all expected lightning-fast speed, endless variety, and total convenience. This put incredible pressure on that final, critical step, what they call last-mile delivery, getting that package to your actual doorstep.
Which brings us to right now, today. The modern supply chain, it's not just a linear chain of physical steps anymore. It's a living, breathing, intelligent, and interconnected ecosystem. A better way to think of it is not as a chain, but as a global nervous system. At the center of this system, you've got AI acting as the proactive brain. Machine learning algorithms are constantly crunching huge amounts of data. They're forecasting what we'll want to buy, predicting potential disruptions, like a storm or a factory shutdown before they happen, and optimizing everything on the fly.
And the system senses? That's the Internet of Things, or IoT. We're talking about millions of sensors out in the world feeding back live data. A sensor can monitor the exact temperature of a container carrying medicine, while GPS tracks the delivery truck's location down to the street. What this creates is total end-to-end visibility. You can see everything, everywhere, all at once. And finally, you have technologies like blockchain providing this system with the perfect, unchangeable memory. It creates this secure, transparent digital ledger that can trace a product's entire journey, say from a coffee bean on a farm all the way to your cup. This is huge for ensuring things are authentic and for building consumer trust.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, from those ancient caravans on the Silk Road to the AI-powered robotic warehouses of today, the history of the supply chain is really just a story of accelerating human innovation. It's an incredible testament to our constant drive to connect, to trade, and to make our world feel just a little bit smaller. I mean, think about it. We've gone from a system that was designed to just move silk a few thousand miles to a system that can actually predict your next purchase before you even know you want it. It's this invisible marvel that underpins our entire modern world. The only real question left is, what on earth will it do next?